Welcome Shri Anil Bhandari to please come up on stage. Let's have a big round of applause for him. Shri Anil Bhandari is the mentor for A&B, a leading risk advisory services company, headquartered in India and having offices in 15 plus countries. He has more than 25 years of experience in risk and governance and spends considerable time on thought leadership. He has been instrumental in driving some of the initiatives, standards in his various capacities, such as President of Institute of Internal Auditors, member of Global Task Force for Institute of Information and Systems Control, chairman of ICAI Western Region, and Central Council member of ICAI. He has also been appointed by Ministry of Corporate Affairs as member on appellate authority set up under the CS, CS and CMA Act, and hears disciplinary cases related to accounting and auditing across the country. He also holds honorary positions as independent member of board committees on IT strategy and cyber security as mandated by SEBI for Nippon Asset Management Company and LIC Asset Management Company. He is now an investor in high growth technologies and loves to read Internet of Things and operational technologies in his spare time. I mean, there's so much to speak about you, sir. We are really blessed to have you here with us today. Let's have a big round of applause for Mr. Anil Bhandari.
Thank you. Am I audible? Yep. Thank you. Very good evening. I wouldn't want to take too much of your time trying to do presentation. I would rather want to see if we can try and make this engaging. But the one that I'm trying to show you here today, I think this is a repetition of one that I had done during the COVID period, especially for the Maheshwaris in a forum where we had a lot of our brothers coming in from Latur, Nanded and all of that. I was kind of thinking through when I was invited by Parth and to speak here on artificial intelligence, and especially because this is a business forum and entrepreneurs. And by the way, I love entrepreneurs. I heard for almost 45 minutes about investing in stock markets. If you would want to invest in stock markets, you should have a lot of money. I would rather want to encourage you to invest in your own businesses. And it's a very dramatically 360-degree different view than most of the people would want to hear. Chartered accountants do great amount of practice and they take out money and they put it in stock markets, gold, mutual fund. They try to make quick money out of that. That quick money, believe me, is not long money. I'm not saying the money is going to go away. I'm saying that at a time when the economy is doing well, you're able to produce businesses worth billions of dollars. And unfortunately, we do not even have the mindset, or we are not even able to open up our mindset in terms of what is the opportunity available to us. We think through, even in a younger age, people try and make money, take out the money and put it back into the stock market. And what are they fighting for? They're fighting for a 24% return. This 24% in a year is fantastic. Sometimes you get 100. Short times, you cannot consistently get 100% return year on year. But if you were to invest money in a business, which for us in the next 10 or 15 years is likely to be very good, you don't make 1x, 2x, you make 50x. And I don't want to take anybody else's example. I'm super focused. I stopped reading Economic Times. You know, पहले market के rates Economic Times में आया करते थे, right? You should get long back. I don't know. I'm feeling like I've grown pretty old. I stopped reading Economic Times for some time. But I said I want to focus on what I want to do, and I want to make sure that every penny that I make, what I'm doing is right, I better invest it back into my own business. So every penny that I made, I invested in people. Every penny that I made, I invested in people. And I do it till date, until the time that I thought that we would run our own Goda in the market. Yeah. हमको Goda, हमारा Goda आना चाहिए market में यार. You know, when you want to invest in a market, there are two kinds of people. One, who know how to make money from money. They're very good. They know how to make money from money. If you are that kind of a person, market is a fantastic place for you, right? But if you are a person who has the ability to think through, run a business, tame it, run it for a period of time, I think you cannot have any better opportunity than what we have in the next 10 or 15 years. And then your aim should be, how do I ensure that my company runs in the market with a value which is super valuable? And before I start this presentation, I must tell you, Um, I don't know how many of you here would have gone to any conferences in the United States? One, two. I think I would only want to encourage just one thing to all of you is just go out for international conferences. It'll just open up your mind and you would start, when you come back, you would start thinking, 1 crore kya hai, 2 crore kya hai. You'll start talking in millions, you'll start talking in billions. And when you start to do that, when you immerse yourself in what you want to do, I think the game completely changes. And again, I'm repeating, and I'm going to repeat this again and again. You cannot have the next 15 years, you will never have it back. And money is no limitation, time is limited. Time is absolutely limited for all of us here. So anyway, so what I'm going to do is, I would want to take you through some business models. It's very important to understand business kaise shift ho raha hai, right? I think somebody said power is a great investment. I don't know if it is or not, right? But I'm saying, is it likely to be changing in the future is what we need to understand. Will it change in the future? And if it changes in the future and you're able to catch the bus at the right time, I think the value proposition is 500x. There is no limitation around it. Catch it at the right time. That is very important. So with me, just for the next 10 minutes, try and just reimagine things. Just try and reimagine some things, whatever it be. And then I would want to end it fast because I know that you're up for dinner as well and would want to make it as engaging as possible. So I'm saying let's reimagine. Before that, I just want to make a statement here. Past is no longer relevant. What you have done in the past has nothing to do with what is happening in the future. And again, if you go back home, aap dekhenge every business has changed dramatically. And I'm going to talk about some of them here. I was in the institute just a couple of days back, and I don't know, I was trying to talk about something, and then I realized that, look at it, technology ko use karne ke liye humko force karna padta tha public ko. You remember banks wanting to get computerization, ki bhai use karo, and people used to be worried. That was compulsive use of technology. Please use karo usko. We are in an era of obsessive use of technology. Hum to uthte aur phone pakadte hain, right? Sabse pehle WhatsApp dekhte hain, email dekhte hain. We are worried in the morning. Kuch ho to nahi gaya raat ko, and if you are investing internationally, you're worried ki, boss, where is the American stock market? What is likely to come is immersive use of technology. And now, if you are anywhere close to wanting to do anything in technology, where would you want to be? Where would you want to be? Like, for example, you're entrepreneurs, right? And if you are an entrepreneur, you want to do something, and if you're already doing something in technology, or you're not doing anything in technology, doesn't matter. Where would you want to be? Sorry? Immersive use of technology, right? And in order to be part of the immersive use of technology, there are 100 use cases in immersive use of technology. I'm happy to, if you have questions, I'm happy to keep answering them all throughout the night. Hundreds of use cases. Everything that I'm going to talk about is a use case. Use case means anything that you do in life, there has to be some usage, which has to have some outcomes. Uska koi ek outcome hona chahiye. So we'll talk about immersive, maybe technology going forward. But let's go back. I think let's reimagine living. 5 minutes. If somebody has been part of one of my presentations before, maybe this is repetition, but 5 या 10 minute के लिए just think about future की cities कैसे दिखने वाली है आपको. Future में city कैसे होने वाली है. How will a city look like? I've just flown in from Dubai. It was 57 degrees. 20 days before that, I was in Austin. It was 52 degrees. Literally 52, 53. It was boiling. Normally in Dubai, people are in air conditioning, doesn't matter. But walking to the car, your skin can literally fry. So I've just given you a kind of a thought, but I'm saying, how will the cities look like in future? If you go to London, you will see this dome. It's a climate controlled dome. People are expected to soon have climate controlled domes where you have waterfalls, you have plants growing in there, and people are expected to live. In the next 25 years, you would have no cities. You would only have 500-story buildings, 1,000-story buildings, maybe 20 years from now, maybe 25 years from now. Schools in there, entertainment centers in there, and completely climate control. It has to be. You do not have a choice. So if you're in construction, my only suggestion to you is make sure that you try and look at the trend of what is likely to happen in the future. As simple as that. Nothing more, nothing less. If you're in a services industry, there is an expectation today that people serve you, right? People come to in India, you have a lot of people. But when you go to US or anywhere where, there is a lack of people, you will only see machines on the table. And there is only 2 servers, 2 ही server hai. I was traveling to one of these places in London. There was a 100 or 200 seater restaurant, McDonald's, standard, nothing different. Just one server. Just one server. Order through machine and pick up your food also through robotics arm. Nothing else. Ek hi aadmi hai wahan pe, right? So the ability to even service you is completely changed. Same thing with airports. I think we are very well aware about it. I think you don't have people at the check-in counters any longer. Machines are doing your check-in. Same thing when you go to a Sainsbury or maybe a departmental store. You would not see people, you would see machines. You come, they ask you $1 for a bag, and you scan everything. Automatically the money is paid, and automatically move out. Just one security, 1 or 2 security guards or whatever. If you go to, and I'm sure if you would have done Googling, in San Francisco there is walk in and walk out, right? If you just take 5 minutes, my intent was not to show you all of this, I think more or less आप लोगों को पता होगा ये सब. But मैं ये बोलने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ कि ये सब में एक मेथड है मैडनेस में. ये सब क्या कोशिश कर रहे हैं? What are people trying to do? Sorry? Why are people trying to do automation? So it is to make sure that they service you better, faster, meaner. That is why you want to do automation. Now automation comes last. First comes, how am I trying to improve a process? In any business function that you do, the focus is, can I cut through the time which is taking me 2 hours to deliver it first in maybe 1 hour, then to deliver it in half an hour, then to deliver it in 5 minutes. आप लोग ने AWS सुना है? Have you heard of AWS? Right? Why was AWS born? आज एक कंपनी में अगर एक सर्वर को इंस्टॉल करने जाते हो आप लोग, कितना टाइम लगता है? Any idea? How much time does it take to install one server in a company? First you order for it, it comes 20 days, then you get it installed, you need an engineer to install it. He takes almost 6 hours to get one server up and running, a Windows server, a simple Windows server. Was that efficient? Was it efficient? It was not efficient. It was waiting to be killed. So what somebody did? Somebody killed it. He said, यार दुनिया का डेटा सेंटर में 7 दिन 8 दिन कंप्यूटर आने को लगते हैं और उसको फ्लाई करने के लिए, इनिशिएट करने के लिए अगर 6 घंटे लगने वाले हैं, तो it is a horrendous waste of people, time, money, and you're not able to scale up. So somebody said, चलो इसको replicate कर देते हैं यार, simple बना देते हैं. एक बड़ा सा सर्वर लेता हूँ, उसके ऊपर 500 सर्वर में 2 मिनट में फ्लाई कर सकता हूँ. So they do it in like 5 minutes. And if your business is scalable, they do it in microseconds. तो जो सर्वर को आपको 15 दिन लगते थे, उसको आपको माइक्रोसेकंड में इसने अनेबल कर दिया. Now what did he try to do? He tried to improve the process. His thought process was, can I innovate to improve it? उसके बाद टेक्नोलॉजी अपने आप आती है. So automation comes later, the thought process comes before, and that is what people do. Now what is with just walk out? बोलते यार आप लोग को बिल जनरेट करना पड़ता है, लाइन में खड़े रहते हैं, चलो इसको बेटर कर दिया हमने, मशीन लगा दी वहां पे, हमारे यहाँ से बिल निकल रहा है, कोई खरीद रहा है, तो आदमी टाइम तो खराब कर रहा है ना, बैग में सामान लेके जा रहा है, स्कैनिंग मशीन पे जा रहा है, he is trying to take an invoice, he is trying to make sure that all of his food articles are all scanned. Why will you want to do that? So somebody improvised it and said, can I only take 5 minutes to do that? When you pick up a material, it's already part of your WhatsApp bill. When you leave it back, it goes out of the bill. Amazing. After that, you start thinking about the technology. How do you do that? So you use immersive technologies, you use computer vision, you use maybe weight vision, whatever, you use artificial intelligence. The fundamentals are, can I make the process better? Right? And I was talking to Sarajji right now, he happens to be in the logistics business. And I said, how much time does it take for you to deliver goods from one place to another? And what was the response, Sarajji? How much time does it generally take to get goods from a place A, B to A to B, and how many tons? 40 days from Namasheva to Europe. 40 days. Now, will somebody kill it? Will somebody kill it? How will somebody kill it? And because of the Red Sea problem, you might end up taking maybe 10 or 20 days more, right? Fundamentally, that's the business. It's a fantastic business. But do you want to be, if you're trying to do a logistics business today, would you want to do the conventional logistics business or try and figure out, can I take a technology edge and be a little better in a logistics business? And there's a sequence to all of this. And I just happened to ask him that how much ton our rocket carries. Generally, ऐसे चलते चलते हम बात कर रहे थे, मैंने बोला यार शिप कितना टन लेके जाती है, रॉकेट कितना टन लेके जाता है. Why did I say that? Why did I ask him a question about एक रॉकेट कितना टन लेके जाता है? Reach faster. Anything else? Sorry? Time efficiency, of course. But you know, why did that thought come to me? Is the rockets are able to fly straight today. It did not come to me 20 years back or 10 years back. It has come to me today because rockets are able to fly straight and rockets are able to land straight today. Which means tomorrow, maybe in 5 years, maybe in 25 years, what is likely to happen is, अगर मुझे 500 टन 1000 टन भेजना है तो मैं शिप से क्यों भेजूंगा उसको? मैं रॉकेट फ्लाई करूंगा, 1 घंटे में लैंड हो जाएगा और वो एलॉन मस्क कर देगा उसको 5 साल में, उसको 25 साल भी नहीं लगने, right? So right or wrong, again I don't know. What I'm trying to say is there is a sequence of the thought process, and the sequence starts from, can I make it faster, better? Can I make your experience better? Always. And if you put that in any of your business that you're operating, I think you would become 10x, 100x, 200x going forward. Let me try and talk about maybe 1 or 2 more use cases. I'm saying there will be no banks tomorrow. Anybody here? 1 only, 2 only. I'm serious, guys, there will be no banks tomorrow. It is going to be like a canvas. It will be like a red or a white or a black, whatever canvas you like. And the banks have become infrastructure companies. The banks have got licenses. But tomorrow, for example, if you want to ship your wholesale lending account from HDFC Bank because you don't like the service to maybe ICICI Bank, आज shift होता है क्या? आज आप कितना भी माथा फोड़ लोगे, वो अकाउंट को, लोन अकाउंट को, होलसेल लोन अकाउंट को शिफ्ट करना, इवन सीसी लिमिट को शिफ्ट करना, will take you almost 3 months, 6 months of a fight to shift it, right? Somebody will come and shift it in 2 minutes, drag and drop there. Why? Why? You don't need artificial intelligence for that. You need an API to talk to one bank which says that yes, आपका ये settlement amount है, settlement amount is converted, drop it into bank B and your money is available and your loan is available from bank B. Which means what? Which means the lending margin that bank A had suddenly disappears in bank B. You know, technology is making us very anxious. Technology is making us very restless. Why am I saying this? Anybody? Why does technology make you restless, anxious? You know, have you tried to book a car, Uber? And if you're in Delhi or anywhere और आपको नहीं मिलता है 2 मिनट में, आप क्या करते हैं? ओला में चले जाते हैं. और अगर आप अब्रॉड जाते हो तो आप लिफ्ट में चले जाते हो. और अगर आपको जूम पे खाना नहीं आता है 5 मिनट के अंदर तो आप क्या करते हो? स्विगी पे चले जाते हो, शायद 4 और ONDC पे चले जाओगे कल आप. Technology has made customer loyalties disappear. Please keep this in your mind. Technology has made, there is nothing called as customer loyalty. You know, there used to be relationship, market, anything that you try to do, there used to be a relationship. Technology has taken away all relationships and making it, customer loyalty is just about 0. So this is just one business I spoke to you about, bank. I can keep talking to you about any business, telecommunication. आज के तारीख में, I used to say 5 or 10 years back, there will be no telecom companies. And people used to laugh at me because telecom was at the peak that time, right? Have you seen the telecom evolution recently? Anybody? What has happened in the telecommunication sector? Sorry? No, yeah, of course, consolidation. But fundamentally, what is changing in the telecommunication sector? Sorry? Data. Data is also dead. What is now coming up? Content? Somebody? So the game is no longer voice. The game is no longer data. The game has suddenly become content. ये किसकी बैलेंस शीट है? वाह, ये आप लोग को याद रहता है. Fantastic. At least you all read balance sheets here, which is good. Why are they trying to do all of this? They have got all the possible consultants in the world. Why are they trying to do all this? They are trying to do all this because if you control content, you ought to be able to control the pipe. The pipe is paid for. आपने 50,000 करोड़ रुपए दे दिए गवर्नमेंट को. The pipe is paid for. Now whether you have paid money for X number of people here. Now whether 100 people come, 200 people come, 500, it's paid. Only when that capacity goes up or away, you need to pay for more. So it is the end of the story. So what is he going to fly on this? He's going to fly content on this, and content is going to make him money, right? So it is possible that a Netflix will become a telecommunication company, or a telecommunication company will end up buying a Netflix in the future, right? Now, agriculture. Is there a game in agriculture with technology? And I'm sorry, by the way, just before you walked in, I said don't invest in stock markets here. Just for the fun of it. Anybody? So
we lose an acre and a half of forest every second. There goes another one. There goes another one. It's 15 billion trees a year. This drone gives us a way to fight back. This was invented by a company called Biocarbon Engineering. They're in Australia. It is a tree planting drone. It fires a tree bullet into the ground, right? Biodegradable bullet container, soil, nutrient-rich solution, little plant, driven by AI, so it gets fired precisely at the depth it needs to go to, in the exact position it should grow in. This drone can plant 100,000 trees a day. They're building an army of 10,000 of them. They can plant 1 billion trees a year. Technology is finally getting to the point where it's making a serious, serious difference in this fight.
Now, we just said 10,000 drones. This has significantly changed in the last 1 year. How? Any idea? You know, they sent 5,000 drones on just one overnight attack on Ukraine, or 5,000 drones on Israel. 10,000 is nothing. Maybe this was done 2 years back or 3 years back, which means you can have 50,000, which means you can 100,000. And if you can plant a tree with AI to understand where it has to be pointed, where it has to go, you don't even have to climb up there. You will have your tree plantation, your agriculture coming up at the right place, right time. So that is the impact of technology. I mean, if you're thinking about agriculture as a business, right? You know, 10 years before, if you thought us agriculture as a business,
we
what would you have
lose
thought?
an acre.
Sorry. 10 years before, if you would have thought of agriculture, what you would have thought about? Any idea? Sorry? Can you take this off? I don't know. Do you need the lights? Or you can slightly dim this. Yeah, that's good. Yes, please. Yeah, much better. Sorry, somebody said something. Green? Microfolics. Anybody else? If you were to compare agriculture waste, and if you would like to look at United States or anywhere which happens to produce a lot of produce, what is the difference? You know, we have small farms here, farmers, single farmer, come with some technology, used to harvest, whatever, no efficiency, right? US, consolidation, huge, then you can put a technology, yaar, yahan pe to aap bada tractor laake karoge kya? Farm to aapka itna sahi hai, so it doesn't help you. So what last 8 or 9 years, maybe 6 years back, people used to, from India, for example, people used to look at Africa, for example. Why? Because you can sometimes go and bribe somebody, do something, try and take a large plot of land and try and do consolidation and run agriculture properly, right? So there are themes and there are times when automatically it changes, right? Now is the time where if you're able to do a little bit of tech, I'm not even saying deep tech, I'm not even going there. I'm saying if you're able to think through a little bit of tech and inject it in that business, the agriculture business from 1x would change 10x for you, right? Because now you have the ability to understand whether it's going to rain, not rain, whether there's going to be a sandstorm, not a sandstorm, whether the soil is right, not right, whether you're able to put it in that soil using a good technology. And maybe you become an aggregator tomorrow of a huge plot of land with just maybe 2,000 drones. How much does a drone cost? Nothing in today's world. You know, it's an interesting world. How many of you have kids? How many? A lot of us here have kids. Fantastic. You know, they play video games. What's your first reaction? बंद कर इसको, मतलब क्या कर रहा है तू, दिन भर यही करते रहता है. When we used to play video games, you know, बंद कर नहीं, हमको तो एक, मतलब we used to get it like, you know what? In the future, there is going to be no fighter pilots. Would you have fighter pilots in the future, flying a real plane? Which means you're flying a drone, which you're already doing, right? I used to say this 5 years back, there will be no fighter pilots in the future, and people were saying, yaar, you know, what nonsense is that? Now there are army of drones. The person is sitting in a container and he's flying it. Just imagine if you do not know how to play a video game. Just imagine that. If you want to clean a gutter abroad, for example, and you have to have a robotics platform go into the gutter and be able to clean it. Just tell me, if you can't play video game, what is it going to do? If you are a doctor and if you want to do a laparoscopy, which is I think I would call it conventional today, not even robotics. How will you do it if you're not able to move your hand and your fingers are not able to do that? So the first learning is, what's the first learning? Please let your children play video games. Might be very useful. Very, very useful. And believe me, I'm serious about it. It's going to be super useful for you. So finally what we come to is, there are 4 or 5 business models. And those 4 or 5 models are outcome-based model. You know what is an outcome-based model? Tesla is valued at almost $1 trillion or whatever. Why? Why is it valued so much? Because somebody put a battery in there? No. The car engages with you. He's put so much of AI ML in there that the car is able to drive you safely from place A to place B. What's your objective when you want to get into a car? What's your objective? Your objective is that you want to travel the fastest, you want the car quickest, and you want it to be safest. And how does it matter if there's a driver or not? I was again in a huge RSA cybersecurity conference in the month of April. And you know, I suddenly saw a car, and somebody might have seen it as well. I was surprised for the first time. I saw a car with a nice camera on the top. I thought it was Google's. You know, Google tries to do this to map karte rehta hai wo. It changes the maps ongoing basis. I thought, yaar, fantastic. And then it was driving and I didn't see anybody. I said, ye kya bhoot drive kar raha hai kya gaadi ko? Agar aap driverless car ko chalte hue dekhoge, to aapko lagega ki bhoot drive kar raha ho gaadi ko. And suddenly the next car I saw, there were 2 people sitting behind in that car. So we were also wanting to do that. Humko bhi khushi thi ki yaar ek car kare. वो कार available नहीं थी 4 दिन के बाद. मतलब we could only get it after 4 days. Yeah. Interestingly. So I'm saying that is outcome. Outcomes get you value. Always. Right? There is no other better model than an outcome driven model in any business model that you do. And that will get you billions of dollars. Second one is another outcome based model is going to a hospital. Before you go to a hospital, would it help you to know what is wrong with you? How would you know that? Another great business in India, by the way. Another great business in India. I don't know if anybody has understood this business. Anybody? Healthcare? Anybody doing anything in healthcare? Guys, we are Maheshwaris. We are 99.99% educated, super educated. I'm saying I will change the word from education to learned. We are crossing the boundaries of education and we are probably becoming learned. We are as good and strong a community as Jewish are. You should not be doing conventional stuff. You should only be doing forward-looking thinking stuff. Yeah. Anybody in healthcare? Healthcare, by the way, is a great business. My friends from stock market could probably, say if I'm right or wrong, but healthcare future is a fantastic business. You know, there are a lot of companies in the world who have outsourced to a lot of companies in India to collect X-rays and just the data points of X-rays. Why? Why would they do that? And there are a lot of companies, and sometimes we have not heard of them. Somebody was asking me whether AI will be a fantastic business in India. I told him yes. He said, you know why? I said because we have a lot of data points. हमारे पास 1 बिलियन आदमी है, 1 बिलियन तो हम यूपीआई का ट्रांजैक्शन कर देते हैं एक महीने में यार, एक दिन में, सॉरी, एक महीने में क्या, एक दिन में कर देते हैं शायद. We have a lot of data points. US does not have data points. Europe does not have data points. Forget about any other countries. Together, Europe does not have so many data points. And so many mix of people, right? Amazing data points. So what happens if I'm able to collect 10 million X-rays? What happens if I'm able to collect 20 million? What happens if I'm able to collect 30 million X-rays? And what happens if I'm able to collect 40? And what happens if I'm able to do 100 million X-rays? Right? I'm saying a simple use case. If you're able to put it on an app, somebody uploads an X-ray and say, you may probably have this, please go and visit maybe your doctor. Would you be better off or not? It's something like a health app, helps a lot of times. It's not a simple business, by the way. It's a fantastic business. Why is it possible in India? We are still evolving on our privacy laws. Try getting an X-ray in Europe, they'll throw you out. So the American companies want to do it here. So anyway, hyper-personalization is something where hyper-personalization is, let me just go back. Do I have it? Okay, no, I don't have it. Okay, hyper-personalization is something that is targeted to you. Anytime that you do anything today is hyper-personalized to you. If you want to buy a shoes, they kind of make the shoes right there. If you want to wear clothes, they will probably end up making it right there. That's hyper-personalization. Any business, I mean, stock markets, AMC companies. What are AMC companies? I'm on an IT strategy of Nippon Life, for example. What are we discussing there? There's only one discussion. How do I serve you better? How do I make your wealth better? How do I understand your taste? Are you an aggressive investor or are you a passive investor? There are all kinds of people. Some may want to be aggressive, some may want to be passive. Some may like technology, some may not like technology. Some may like manufacturing. We all have our own taste. How much ever our friends will tell me that please invest in a power or this, I may like it, I may not like it. It's individual taste. It's our own thought process. So that is what? That is contextual identity and contextual data. So if I get the contextual data right in AI/ML, then I can target it to you to say, hey, you know what? I understand that you like this. This is what I have for you. And by the way, this is a fantastic business. And we have spent 1 year in that AMC trying to build models of making sure that we're able to give you a return which you're expecting to your appetite, to your taste, not to somebody else's taste. My friend may want 100% return. You may not want 100% return. Right? So, hyper-personalization. Last, access versus ownership. Please let me know the time check. How much time do I have? Oh, fantastic. I kind of didn't see that. All right. So, last 2 or 3 minutes on this. Access versus ownership. This is again a fantastic model. Anything and everything that you do today, people don't want to own it. I keep repeating in every conference that I go to, I stayed in the same house for 50 years. None of your kids would want to stay in the same house for 50 years. They want to taste new houses, right? So access versus ownership is becoming a great model again. Now, there are a lot of industries and there are a lot of digital investments being made in every industry. And I've got this slide and I'm happy for them to send it out to all of you. What we could probably do, because I think we're short of time, what we could probably do is I could take maybe a couple of questions if that's okay with you all, rather than trying to take you through some other slides which spoke about businesses, maybe mining, maybe logistics, maybe travel. I'd got some of those aspects. Yeah, please go.
Hello. Great presentation. I really loved it. I'm very happy that you have used, and in your presentations you spoke a lot more about technology, automation, but I lacked some of the AI aspects of it. When we are talking about AWS, it's the automation, but not the AI part of it. If you can talk from Indian scenarios, what are the AI things that we can do and what are the sectors that it can impact? For example, healthcare. That might be very interesting. So for example, in stock market, I'm using automation in the sense it automatically fires orders, buys and sells within the day. But how I can implement the AI on that is something insights that I can gain from you.
Okay. So just to kind of do this in the short of the long story is that I don't know if you try to capture what I was trying to tell you. AIML is a technology that you use essentially to create an outcome. I was trying to spend a little more time on outcome. Fundamentally, when I spoke about healthcare, the only AIML algorithm that somebody would want to use below maybe a X-ray is a neural network which just does similar pattern, nothing else, right? So your kid could probably write a Python which can actually pick up a neural network, which can actually do pattern matching, for example. So I just want to say this in 5 minutes that don't think of AIML as a great shake. First, you need to understand data points. If you're able to tag the data points, if you're able to understand the data points, doing AIML is simple. Why is it simple? Because you have got 50 algorithms which are already published in the market. You don't really have to do too much. So let me talk to you about anybody doing commerce here. Contracts, right? Huge chunk of contracts. So we go into a bank and they say we have a huge chunk of contracts. What do we do that? What do you want to find out in contracts? What would you want to identify in contracts? I simply do what? I simply do an OCR, attach it to a neural network, simple pattern matching. I come back and tell you there are 40 scenarios in contract. There is no contract completion time in some, there are no SLAs in some, there is no limitation liability in some, the standard contract is not met. If you do 4 of these use cases in a small technology tool, if you understand law, so the extension of what you do is what you need to understand, right? So I am a chartered accountant, I'm doing cyber tech. What I'm trying to do is I understand identities, right? So what I do is I first have a solution which picks every piece of data that you have on your machine. We have done it for a large bank with 200,000 desktops. So what I did, I picked it up. Now what do I have? I have anything and everything that you do. Now if I want to do something in AIML, what will I do? What will I do? I'm trying to prod you to think through this yourself. So I'm saying, if you have all the data of people sitting in a bank or anywhere, what is it that you would like to do? The first thing that you want to kill is what? Privacy. That's the biggest problem in a bank. Financial services company. You want to kill that privacy. What do you want to understand? Who's got the most important data? Right? So when you do this, you will come back and tell me that there are 500 people in this bank who's got the most important data. So another use case for AIML. And when you want to do KYCs of the world, we are trying to use AIML to trigger outcomes, which again leads into automation, right? So after the first phase, it requires a little bit of deep tech understanding. But believe me, I think if you stick to your potentials of tagging the data and understanding the outcome, understanding AI is like a 20 minutes job in the first phase, maybe not in the second phase. Last question.
Hello. Hello, sir. You said a line from education to learning. I would like to know your opinions in the education sector, how education is changing for students, as well as students like us who are always eager to learn.
I think I'm a great fan of no exams. Why do you need exams? Right? Skills matter, right? Degrees don't matter. Now, you may like me saying this, but how do you translate this into real world? Right? So, I was hoping that education changes because of COVID. It did not go through so much of change. I'm still hoping that education in India goes through a significant amount of change, which is forward-looking and not copying something. And that is only possible if you ask people to do objective thinking. I don't know if you realize what I was trying to do here. I was only trying to tell you fundamental data points. If you cracked it well, if you understood it well, you can create your own models around it, right? So if objective thinking is something that our education system is able to do, I think that's fundamentally amazing. But I think education doesn't change so fast. Unfortunately, it's government driven. I thought Byju's would do a fantastic job. It didn't land up doing it. It created some sham company or whatever. I don't know if it's sham or not. So I think education in India or anywhere is still 15 years far away. But if you would want to invest time and energy and if you understand education, I think it's a great business. Please stick to skills and try and figure out if there's a data point in skills here. Thank you. Thank you.
Sir? Hello. Yes. I think today's session, especially this last session, has left us with so many thought-provoking questions. And you're very right that industry is changing, times are changing, and we also need to adapt with the change. And really, really grateful to have you here today, sir. I would request Shri Mukundji Kela